Hello, everyone. My name is Susan Reed, and I'm an immigration attorney and the director of the Michigan Immigrant Rights Center. MIRC is a nonprofit legal resource center for Michigan's immigrant communities. All of our services are free to the client, and we are excited to be able to share with you as a community service provider information about the new Parole in Place for Spouses of U.S. Citizens program. It's often called PIP. It opened yesterday. Let's talk about who is eligible for this program and what the program is. The benefits of the program. What is it? What do you get if you apply for PIP? You get 3 years of parole, which is effectively a lawful status. Parole is a word that has a specific immigration law meaning. It has nothing to do with being released from prison. It has nothing to do with the criminal justice system. In the immigration system, parole really just means a lawful entry. Parole in place means you're going to file an application, and it's going to be like an entry when the immigration system recognizes you. So think of parole as that entry into the country, and parole in place as the law allowing you to make that entry by filing an application. Along with that 3-year parole comes an employment authorization document or a work permit, an EAD, we sometimes call them. That work permit will be valid for the same amount of time as the parole that's granted, that 3-year period. And that employment authorization document will also make a person eligible for a Social Security number. The parole in place also will allow someone potentially to file an application for adjustment of status to lawful permanent resident based on being the spouse of a U.S. citizen. That doesn't happen automatically through this program, but it's a next step that some people might be able to take after getting this parole in place approved. So that's what it is. The next question really is, who is it for? Parole in place is only eligible to people who entered without being admitted or paroled. Why is that? Why can you only get this benefit if you entered without inspection, if you cross the border? Because if you entered some other way, you already have an approved legal entry. You don't need to make this special application to be recognized as having entered the United States. So that's the only reason why that's a requirement. You don't need it if you're not in that situation. Then this is critical. You have to have already been married to a U.S. citizen on June 17th, 2024. That is when the Biden administration announced this program. So no one who got married after this was announced can take advantage of this program. This program is only available to people who were already married to a U.S. citizen at the time the program was announced. The next qualifier is 10 years of continuous presence in the U.S. As of June 17th, 2024. You have to have been continuously present. You have to have been in the United States for 10 years since June 17th, 2014. To take advantage of this program. So again, this program is not for people who've newly arrived in the U.S. This is only for people who have that long residence. A common question we've been getting, do you have to have been married for 10 years? No. You have to have been present in the U.S. for 10 years, and you have to have been married at any point to you have to have been married to a U.S. citizen, your current spouse, since before June 17th, 2024. You can't have any disqualifying criminal activity or be a threat to national security. I'm not going to go into great detail. Basically, anyone with any kind of a criminal conviction is definitely going to need individual high-quality legal advice before applying. There are some very minor crimes that won't prevent people from taking advantage of this program, but generally anyone with a criminal conviction absolutely needs individualized legal advice before applying. You have to not be a threat to national security or otherwise be what's called inadmissible based on background checks. I'm also not going to go into a great deal of detail about that, but if you have any concerns about anything that will come up in a background check, any kind of arrest or major problem that you've had at the border in the past, you also definitely need individual advice. And then the last requirement that the government has published is positive discretionary factors. It's not really exactly known what's meant by this, but generally you're going to want to include at least a letter in an application, generally stating that you're someone who's been a valuable member of the community, some letters from close friends or family members. Generally, it's not expected that we're going to need to provide a lot of evidence about these discretionary factors as long as you don't have negative factors. But this is just something the government puts in that kind of gives them the opportunity to, if they have a concern, potentially not grant the case. It is, I would say it is intentionally vague, so it's a little bit challenging for me to talk about. But again, it's primarily a concern for people who may have a criminal conviction or another significant negative issue that's going to come up in a background check. The other thing I really want to lift up is that this program is also available to stepchildren. Meeting the definition of a stepchild of a U.S. citizen, a stepchild of a U.S. citizen who entered without being admitted or paroled, who had physical presence in the U.S. on June 17th, 2024. Stepchildren don't have that same 10-year requirement. They do have all the same requirements around no disqualifying criminal activity or other negative factors. So that is the program. That's an overview of what the program is and who is eligible. The application is live right now. You can only apply online, and the filing fee for the application is $580. All of the instructions about the program are on the USCIS website, and I will share some information about that in a moment. The thing I want to say before that, though, is that it is very valuable to get legal advice about eligibility for any immigration program, and it's certainly something that we recommend. Many people will go ahead and file for this program on their own, and that's fine if people choose to do so. But if you are looking for legal assistance, it's really important to get reputable legal assistance and high quality legal assistance. So again, our organization is the Michigan Immigrant Rights Center. We are a nonprofit legal resource center for Michigan's immigrant communities, and all of our services are free. Because we have limited resources, we often have to make referrals to partner organizations or private attorneys when people contact us, depending on our funding and resources. But contacting us is always free, as is all the information and services we provide. So you can certainly reach out to us, and our website is there with more information about how to contact us, michiganimmigrant.org. But anywhere in the United States, you can use the National Immigration Legal Services Directory, and we will be sharing a link along with this video, from the Immigration Advocates Network, also a nonprofit. And you can get information about nonprofits anywhere in the country that you can contact for community immigration legal services help. We will also be providing links to the American Immigration Lawyers Association. That's a private bar organization of people who self-identify as practicing immigration law can join the American Immigration Lawyers Association. And what you will know then is that you are getting a licensed attorney who has self-identified as specializing in immigration law. We're also going to share some guidance from the government on avoiding scams. There are a lot of scams out there. Notaries public or travel agencies, often when there's a program like this, charge high fees for very minimum services, preparing forms or doing online filings. They may pose as lawyers. They may claim to have some special connection to the government. We really urge you to work with a recognized, reputable nonprofit legal services organization or a licensed attorney as you seek legal advice for this program. Just highlighting for you where to find at uscis.gov some of the official government information about the program. 2 important notices were released last week, announcements and FAQs from the government, and a Federal Register notice that was just published on August 19th, as well as more FAQs. This is a new program, so everyone's still learning about it, and you can go right to those sources, especially the FAQs, and get as good of an understanding as anyone has about how the government is thinking about this program. Here is a link to the program announcement from June 18th. And here is a link to the Keeping Families Together page that will have all of the information about this program. So thank you for joining us. And again, please take a look at the online resources, and please don't hesitate to seek legal assistance if you need individualized legal support. Thank you.